Hello, everyone. This is BigAlski,
And this is JTB123.
and we are doing dual commentary for the first time on Ball Bade's Master Ninja Karma Run for Ninja Gaiden Black. So this fight right here, I think Kel showed this the first time, the two bats.
Yeah, I think he showed this on his, might have been his Ninja Dog run even, or his normal run. I'm not sure if it was, I know that's not timed on those difficulties, so it wasn't them. But yeah, I think it was Kel. I think he showed this first. It was like staggering the essence with the windmill shuriken.
Right. So he's already jumping away to do his on landing as the other essence is dissolving.
And he gets a sneaky ET here. I love that, like, use. I think that right there is a perfect example of, like, level 1 Luna really coming into play, like, straight away as well. Like, you can really kind of see that. Like, getting an extra ET there without the level 1 Luna. It's probably possible, but, you know, you're going to save a lot of time being able to use the level 1 Luna.
Now, this move right here, I know JTB is going to talk a little bit about the Lunar, but I do want to say Kiori is the one who figured this spot out.
Yeah, Kiori, I mean, he figured out a lot of the, like, really early kind of sweet spots throughout the whole game. And, yeah, this is one he showed. And I think the main reason here that the level 1 Luna comes into play is he can just be a lot more, not necessarily reckless, but he's got a lot more time to make up, like, any accidental kills than you would have with the level 1 Luna. It's one thing that's always, I guess, balanced out the Black Cat Fiends is they are a very dangerous enemy, but they are extremely easy to kill. Like, they don't have a lot of health, and I think the level 2 Luna kills them in 2 hits without the Armlet of the Sun on.
Right.
It might be 3.
Now, just to let people know, we're doing this dual commentary over Skype, so and we're new to this, so give us a little break. But I do want to say on that fight beforehand, I wonder if he could have gotten a UT if he had opened the chest. Because he was only able to charge up for the ET, or he had the essence for the ET.
Yeah,
that was
he could have
something
got
that I
one.
thought about.
I did make a note of that. That's the only spot where I think, in this chapter at least, because I think originally on his run, on his previous one, I think he was able to get 11 UTs out of that fight. And I think on that one he gets 10 UTs and an ET.
Yeah, he was going to use the chest to stop the timer.
Yeah. But I think that's maybe one thing where, like, just positioning I mean, getting 11 UTs out of that fight, if I remember correctly, I think that put about 20 hours on my clock, literally, to get 11 UTs out of that fight. I don't blame him at all.
Now, notice, too, he also had to use Nimpo, to kill the guy, because the level 1 Lunar wasn't going to kill him.
I think that works out really well for him, because, like, those monks can be really awkward to kill, like, in a timely fashion. Like, if you kind of have to go on the fly and just kill them straight away, Nimpo really is the easiest thing to use. And
also because you're going to get more than likely a blue essence out of it.
Yeah, they're very good for dropping blue essence.
Yeah, you're going to get the blue essence versus if you UT'd them, you would have got the yellow essence. So, the trade-off for charging up for the UT versus being able to light the Nimpo is pretty much the same thing, but you just get the more points.
Yeah, you do. I think I've watched this a couple of times now, and I think this has to be the most cooperative I've ever seen this son of a bitch be in my life. Like, this is poetry in motion. This is just so good. I think he gets 11 UTs out of this fight, like, all absolutely perfectly timed, just one-hit UTs. I think the clone only falls off once, which is total BS. Yeah, this guy is he's a huge pain in the arse. All props to Balvin for getting this, like, so perfectly. Let's say, like, he just gets this fight so perfectly.
Yeah. And thanks to Kiori, I think it was Kiori, or it might have been even Ice Wolf. Maybe it was Kiori who showed this.
I'm not sure about this particular method, because I know in mission mode you can use on this. This is the 4th mission in, like, the Evil Ryu series, and I think the earliest I saw it might have been Fat Man. He showed it with the nunchucks, but obviously that doesn't apply to story mode because you don't have the Armlet of Celerity. But yeah, I can't remember who showed this in story mode first, but it's a really genius tactic. Like, it's really, like, a fantastic example of using the environment to just, like, to your advantage all the time.
Right. I wonder how many times, you were saying Ryu was, being cooperative and everything, but how many times did he try this?
I wouldn't be surprised if he went through at least one controller doing this fight. Either that or just fate shined upon him that day. Because this is, like, even watching it now, I've watched this, like, 3 times now, and this is ridiculous. Like, it's just so perfect. It really is. I really don't think this fight could be done any better. I know I did it a little bit differently because I had the level 2 Luna, and I actually lit the fire wheels up at the start. So when he jumps up to you, if you light your fire wheels as soon as you make him fall off the edge with his wall attack, you can actually make him just get knocked back twice, the perfect amount of times to get a one-hit UT with the level 2. But this is it's another great example, I think, of the level 1 Luna. He doesn't have to mess around with that, purely because the level 1 Luna does so little damage. He can just save his Nimpo, he can save his elixirs, and he can just really take advantage of that weapon.
He's lucky in the sense that guy charged through there and didn't maybe jump up or try to light a Nimpo either to be able to kill him with a UT.
That was his positioning on that part. It's what determines the evil Ryu's wall attack.
Now see, there's the essence bonus or essence he showed. How much? I think it was what?
It's 35,000.
Yeah.
You get 35,000 for killing him with UT, which, I mean, I think Essence, from this point on, especially on Master Ninja, when you're doing a Karma run, Essence is just not a problem. You have Essence to burn, from this point. You get so much. I think, I know the Archive Challenge is a huge Essence, farming, even though you're not technically farming, but, you can't help but get, at least 80,000 out of the Archive Challenge.
Did you watch his video on this? He made a separate video.
I didn't see his Archive Challenge video. I didn't know he did one.
Yes. Well, it's completely separate from this. He fights everything on the ground floor with...
to use the Vigorian flails.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. I just want to say right here, that is a really good way of, on the fly, using that little sweet spot. I don't think I've ever seen that used before, at that point in that fight. That's really good that you managed to get that in there.
Right. I thought he might have dragged that essence there to the other fight, but he didn't.
I think you can go back and save after that fight, and I think he only charges an ET here. You can charge a UT, it just, you have to get lucky, really. But I think, all in all, it probably goes just as well.
Now, I think you ought to let people know about, what you've done, in the sense that, you've currently got the highest score out there.
Yeah, so far as we know, until Balbade finishes this run.
Well, I mean, it's good to have somebody's perspective who knows, what he's actually trying to, how hard it is to do that. I mean, whenever I did my run, I mean, I only got a little over 24 million, and you guys were taking it to another level. So, I'm glad that, we decided to do this dual commentary, and you can really get your perspective in.
I think the main thing, right off the bat, that's going to be the biggest game changer at this point in the game is the level 1 Luna, because I think his chapter 6 score is just under 2.6 million, and I think mine was just under 2.5, and I think that's just the level 1 Luna on the zombies, being able to really take your time and not have to worry about your positioning as much, and just a UT here and there, it's one of the things that I think a lot of people underestimate, just 1 or 2 UTs in, say, 2 or 3 fights out of the game across every single chapter, that is a lot of points. That's right. Just off the top of my head, that's probably about 100,000 points just for getting that little extra karma here and there. And I think that's what he's been doing up until this point, but I think that the real game changer is going to be the level 1 Luna going forward from this point. I think it's going to help a lot in chapter 7, because one thing that I really don't like about the zombie fights, mainly because I find them quite boring, because they are just farming, but it is how important your positioning is when you have the level 2 Luna. Hitting a zombie with, say, 3 hits out of the UT as opposed to 1. For those who don't know, the Luna's UT is a 5-hit UT. So if you're hitting them with 2 or 3 hits when you should only be hitting them with 1, you're losing 2, potentially 3 UTs per 2 zombies you kill. Whereas with the level 1 Luna, that's not going to happen, so that's going to be a lot of points he gets. And I can't really give too much insight to it further in the game because I didn't have the level 1 Luna, but I think potentially in chapters 10, 12, and 15 are where the level 1 Luna's really going to make a difference. Like, that's going to make a huge difference if he can keep it at that level. I know he mentioned he might upgrade it, but I think he should keep it at level 1 for as long as he can. And that is going to do it for part 1 of chapter 6, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in part 2.